halfway done with the qualifiers for Tour de Endurance 24-25, and the stadium fans have been rampant, with the Rosemaries and the Croissant crew topping the groups after the first two events. Just two events to determine the teams that qualify for this season: Hubelino Pursuit Event 3 and the Funnel Classic as the final test of the qualifiers. This event made its debut in the Hubelino Pursuit last season in Season 4, and we'll see how teams do this time.
In the A League, the Honeycombs won it, and in the B League, the Croissant crew won it. Both teams are here today and having decent results so far in the qualifiers. It could be the event to push them into automatic qualification, and we'll see. This is the Expedition Pre-Show with Stargazers and the Bone Rattlers. And Stargazers, you can see these legs do matter. You can have much better runs, as Stargazers in legs 1 and 3 in particular there were wonderful, and in the fourth one too, they really pull away, and that pushes them on to, of course, win the race over the Bone Rattlers. But it is all about these transitions, nudging your marbles forward. If you don't do that properly, here's where the Bone Rattlers struggled. Right there. Impacts with your fourth marble. The time stops when your fourth marble crosses the line. There is no handicap. You must get all 4 across for it to finish. So you gotta really keep them together and keep them packed without pushing anyone too far behind and ruining your race. And here we see Group A, the preview for it, lined up. Serpent Speeders will run first, with the Rosemaries, and Onion Union and Cosmonauts take up the final heat. This is a big, you have to do well here, otherwise you'll be in so much pressure for the final event. It is a must perform for some of these teams. Serpent Speeders and Rosemaries, and off they go.
Now, Rosemary is sitting pretty at the top of the Serpent Speeders. After a terrible first event particularly, they're trying to get back on their feet. Serpent Speeders look to be slightly ahead. Rosemary swings right back in their favor though, and the Serpent Speeders completely fall apart towards the end here. Rosemary's will easily get the win here, and this might be a potential clincher for them to qualify. We'll see what it is for them, but the Serpent Speeders, you can see all that contact in that final leg. In the final few legs particularly, you need to avoid the contact between your members, otherwise it can completely ruin your run, and it did for the Serpent Speeders. But Rosemary's, this is looking very good for them to qualify as we move on to a rivalry matchup in the second one. Lagoon Platoon and the Neptune Nomads, and off they go. Looks slightly better for the Neptune Nomads, but very close. All going to come down to these final few legs.
Oh, it was neck and neck all the way throughout. Lagoon Platoon had pulled ahead in the third sector, but it was poor contact again. What a fun race that was between the two water team rivals that really do not like each other for some reason. And Lagoon Platoon there, they pulled away, but it was that corner right there to pull themselves back. And Neptune Nomads get the win, and I imagine are going to, in that catch basin there, are going to be rubbing it in Lagoon Platoon's face as they move on to run 3. After a very exciting rivalry race, move on to Quantum Tunnels and the Cheese Balls. Mixed fortunes so far in these qualifiers for both teams. They're both in the bottom 6. It's a big opportunity to try and pull away now, as Quantum Tunnels have pulled ahead. Cheese Balls though, huge separation. That leaves the fourth one to run all by themselves, and they do get past the Quantum Tunnels to win the race. Of course, they didn't actually get off the track before the Quantum Tunnels did, but that's not fair. They will be marked based off of when they nod to their teammate. And the Quantum Tunnels, another poor result. Cheese Balls go up into third place, but 11.6 is far from the quickest time we've seen so far. We'll see where it stacks up after the final 3 runs.
Only a 10th between them, but it separates them 3rd to 6th place and stone dead last for the Quantum Tunnels. After a good start for them, Cheese Balls completely captured them. And we move on to the 4th league. Crystal Pistols way faster in the opening legs. Party Crashers have a lot of catching up to do. They're trying to bring it back right now, and the Party Crashers are doing a good job of closing the gap, but they can't get by the Crystal Pistols. They've had a pretty good qualifier so far, and they will get the edge over the Season 2 champions. Crystal Pistols had a much bigger lead at the beginning, fell away a bit from them towards the end, but they will go up into 3rd place. Party Crashers down in 6th place. Not great for them, who haven't had the cleanest qualifiers thus far. Now, J Jockeys and Team Mayhem in the 5th one. Team Mayhem did get the win in balancing. We'll see if they can continue a good form here. J Jockeys get a better start. Team Mayhem pretty much close to that gap now. And Team Mayhem, oh, they still need to close that gap now. J Jockeys seem to be ahead, and I think they will take it. Yes, they will. Team Mayhem can't get by. J Jockeys will get the win.
That's much needed. J Jockeys, of course, they've struggled so far. Team Mayhem have a win, so they'll both have... It's helpful for both, but J Jockeys can only slot into 6th place, 11.677 for them, and Team Mayhem will be in 10th. That's last out of everybody so far. Team Mayhem, that is not the result they wanted. They might be in trouble going into the final event, despite winning one, as Onion Union and the Cosmonauts in the final round of the day. Also 2 teams that are in trouble. They need to pick it up in this event. It's neck and neck through the first leg, pretty much roll for roll, as Onion Union, though, they have pulled away now in the 3rd sector. Can they hold it through to the end? There's some contact. Cosmonauts, despite the separation, will actually beat them out in the 4th sector. That just goes to show how important that 4th transition is. It can really mess you up if you're not consistent with your impacts.
What a great comeback for the Cosmonauts, but in fact they had such a slow start that it's only good enough for 7th place. But the Onion Union, just less than a 10th back, they're all the way down in 11th. So they'll only get 1 point from this event. Team Mayhem dead last, but the Rosemaries, coming off 2 silver medals, they get the gold here in the 3rd event and have by my math, guaranteed qualification. Yes, they have 39 points at the top. Crystal Pistols in 2nd. The Rosemaries have qualified for their first Tour de Endurance season. Lagoon Platoon, Team Mayhem, Neptune Nomads, and the Party Crashers rounding out the teams still in the qualification zone. But the Rosemaries are so happy, their first time in Tour de Endurance in the big show, and they've made it before even the final qualifier event.
They can pretty much write off the final classic now. It's just a nice leisurely stroll now for the Rosemaries. They've done it nice and easy. They will move on to the main show, no problem. No one eliminated from Group A. So anybody else still with a chance, with some results going their way, as we move on to Group B. The Blue Brigade and the Moneymakers will start us off. The Blue Brigade, of course, they have perfect attendance. They want to hold on to that. Moneymakers want to just get back into the main show of the 2 very successful B-League campaigns. The Blue Brigade are pulled far away from the Moneymakers here, and it comes closer a little bit in the 3rd sector, but that's a clean exit, a clean finish for the Blue Brigade, which is much needed, and we haven't seen one of those by a leading team in a while. So that is how the Blue Brigade showing everyone in Group A how it is done, and the Moneymakers how it's done as well. Well done by the Blue Brigade. Oh, in fact, it's a new record! In the first run of the day, they beat out, the group, sorry, they beat out the White Knights record that they set back in Season 4. The quickest run of that event. The Blue Brigade have just beaten it in the first run of the B-League. Will they hold the lead, though? That's the question. Navy Seals and the Honeycombs in Run 2.
Kind of masked by the Moneymakers, who also had a good run. These teams trying to match it now. Navy Seals look to be pretty clean in the top lane. Honeycombs can't come back, but even that 11.5 set by the Moneymakers is going to be hard to beat for either of these teams. I imagine neither will beat the Blue Brigade, but Navy Seals did look pretty clean, and both of them go into that 11.5 range. Navy Seals do slot into 3rd and Honeycombs 4th, but these runs have looked great in Group B to start off. We'll see what the other 4 heats can stack up. Steel Force and Hellclowns now in the 3rd run. Steel Force have a great start to the qualifiers, but it all came away for them in the downhill drag, and the Hellclowns have the lead right now over the Steel Force. They need to rely on the Hellclowns, have some bumps. Steel Force are going to try to come back. Oh, and they completely get slowed down towards the end for the Steel Force. Hellclowns cruise to an easy victory here, but how does it stack up to the other teams? It did not look quite as clean as most of the teams, but the Hellclowns do slot into 2nd place, 11.467. That's great for them.
Steel Force, 12 seconds, comfortably in last place, and comfortably the worst run we've seen across both groups. Not good, even though they won the first event. Now, Green Peacocks and the Popsicles. Green Peacocks, they desperately need a result here. The Popsicles have a silver and a poor result in downhill drag, but it's still not bad. Green Peacocks, though, they're closing in on the Popsicles to the final sector, especially. It's neck and neck across the line. It was very clean by the Popsicles, so I think this will be a good run by both teams. I'll have to see what the times stack up to, though. Look at it, and it was this sector here where Green Peacocks really caught up till the end. It's 2nd and 3rd, both teams into the podium provisionally with 2 runs to go. Can they hold on to it?
That is great news for both the Popsicles and the Green Peacocks. Mixed fortunes for both of them coming into this event, but both of them would have loved to get a great finish here, and they do so far. White Knights and Croissant Crew now in next run. White Knights have a better start, and the Croissant Crew also pretty decent, but Croissant Crew will take the lead right now. Ooh. And White Knights can't come back. It's very close across the line. White Knights though had the better start, but contact plagued them in the middle of the run, and they will lose out to the Croissant Crew, but that was just millimeters across the line. They, I imagine, will be adjacently placed in the standings, and they go P5 and P6 with just 1 heat to go here. That's about decent for those two, but could have been better. But now, to end Hubelino Pursuit in the qualifiers, Team Sunrise and the Condiment Kings. Can either of them make a challenge at the Blue Brigade, or at least the top 3? Team Sunrise get the better start. Condiment Kings do come back a little, but it's all going to come down to the end.
Team Sunrise do come across the line to win the race. It was clean from start to finish. I did see a bit of thrashing around the walls here by Team Sunrise's final member, but they were able to bring it back in the end. Actually worked out very well. They got a clean finish to the race, and it's good enough for 3rd place. Team Sunrise will be back on the qualifiers podium. Condiment Kings in 7th. That's not too bad, and there you see the results. The Blue Brigade, who have been pretty good so far, they may have also already qualified for this tournament. Popsicles and Team Sunrise will round out the podium, and Steel Force 2 goose eggs in a row. What does this do for the standings? And no one in Group B has made it yet. It is still only 19 points, in fact, separate all 12 teams. It's still a pretty close battle. but Blue Brigade look pretty set to make it, as do teams like the Croissant Crew and the Popsicles, who now have 2 silvers in these qualifiers. This looks like the time, everyone. It's the Popsicles are finally going to make it. Hopefully they can hold on to it. But we look to the final challenge, the classic challenge, the challenge of them all, the funnel classic to decide who qualifies. One race across both groups with all 12 marbles will decide the top 6 of both groups to make it to the main show.
And I couldn't describe it better myself, but the Funnel Classic has been a tried, tested, and true event for so many of these teams. They all know exactly which member to put in here, with multiple marbles representing the teams over the years. So it's going to be a very hard-fought battle for the Funnel Classic. So many past podiumers, I imagine, representing their team to try to get them in that top 6 zone to qualify. The Expedition Pre-Show teams will show us how it's done, but we all know how it's done here in the Funnel Classic. Stay in for as long as possible, and you will get the win.
Now we're going to watch the full race here, because there's been some clamouring. The Grayscales have heard some clamouring for the Expedition Pre-Show teams to get some more love, some more cheering from the fans, and that's exactly what they're going to get. This full race will be done in the friendly. The Sky Dragons, one of the most popular teams in fact, have the early lead there on the outside. Ash Risers come on through first into the orange funnels. It's the same exact track lineup we saw in Funnel Classic in Season 4, except for one brief change. There's now 4 orange funnels each between the middle green one. It was a 5-3 split back in Season 4, but now it's even Stevens. 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom there between the greens. And it is still, it is Cherry Blossoms and Sky Dragons at the top of the table there, and Sky Dragons have a comfortable lead in the blue funnels matching their uniform. And that's the black holes down below, but several others join them and will be the first into the green funnel. That is the Stargazers.
Almost a minute the Sky Dragons spent before even touching an orange funnel. That is great for them, and that is what these teams in the main show will be trying to emulate. And one team is down further behind the green funnel, joined by another marble in that second orange section. But you can see how long these times will get. A lot of chances for these teams to make a comeback, even if you are towards the bottom in this Funnel Classic. And for teams towards the top, they have a lot of chance to lose that lead. So anything can happen in the Funnel Classic. We've seen great battles in not just the orange funnels, but also in the final green funnel, when you can see 6, 7, 8 marbles, or even more than that, all battling to get first place in this event. Sky Dragons still hold the lead, but they've lost that lead pretty much entirely now, and they make contact with some of the other marbles. I think that's the Autumn Leaves now that look poised to take the lead from them. But of course, pretty much halfway done only with this course for both of those teams, but they have a big lead now over the rest of the competitors. This is what the teams in the main show want. They want to really consolidate that gap early on and not lose it towards the end.
And it is the Polar Bears, Ash Risers, Cherry Blossoms that all come through first. Now, the interesting fact with these green funnels, the bottom one is much more circular with its movement. Oh, the Sky Dragons have come off the track. That is a danger of this course. You do not want to do that when you are so far in front. That will give you an immediate last place, you'd imagine. But as I was saying, the green funnel at the bottom is much more circular with its rotation, of course. But the middle one is far more ovals. You fly all over the place. It is not very consistent with the angles you take in that funnel at all. Very much obtuse, you'd say. And the Bone Rattlers will get second place over the Autumn Leaves, who pretty much got handed this win by a big mistake by the Sky Dragons. You really don't want to see that in the pre-show, of course, but in the main show, that's just going to be devastating. But the Autumn Leaves are having a wonderful time here, just showboating all the way to the end. 2 minutes 50, clocking overtime. Can they make it for a 3-minute run? Can the Autumn Leaves? I don't think it's going to quite get that far. 2:56, a miraculous time from a pre-show team. That is fantastic.
And on the other end of the spectrum, terrible for the Sky Dragons. Perhaps getting a bit ahead of themselves here. Of course, it's only the Expedition Pre-Show. But it would be disastrous for any of the teams to do that in the main qualifiers. This is the final chance for anyone to rack up points to get in that top 6. And 2:56 for the Autumn Leaves, almost tracking 3 minutes, which I imagine would be the mark for a victory, or at least the top 2 in the main event. But there you can see the Group A teams ready to go. It is now time for them, their final chance to rack up points here in the qualifiers and get in the A-League. Crystal Pistols down to the Cheese Balls, Jewel down to Cheddar. Here we go. In Group A, off they go.
One race to decide it all, and they have begun in Group A. It is a mess to start. It is all about setting the tone in these first few translucent funnels, and J Jockeys come through first. These Serpent Speeders have a wider outline to the rest, but it's all about holding on at the start. I see Cheese Balls looking at the platoon. That's Marsh, Cheddar, and Viper. Cheddar comes on through. It's going to be Marsh or Viper to take the lead as we're seeing J Jockeys, Crystal Pistols, Rosemary's. They're all coming into the orange funnels now, and that first green funnel is where you can try to make a comeback, or you can try to make your comebacks in the orange, and that is much more difficult to do. I can promise you that. The Onion Union, Allium, the new captain, comes on through into the last orange funnel of the first section first, and it is, I believe that is Neptune Nomad's Larissa who has the early lead.
Yeah, but everyone is already in the orange funnel. Unlike the Expedition pre-show, everyone within just 40 seconds gets to the orange, so it's going to be a pretty close battle here in Group A. A lot of collisions in that first green funnel. One marble is all the way down, though. Is that the Rosemary's? I think it is, and this is pretty much just for fun for them. But for the rest of the teams, they're all trying to get in the... get qualified. Oh, someone's fallen off! Is that the J Jockeys? Is that the Quantum Tunnels? The Quantum Tunnels have fallen off the course! That might be not qualification for them. Oh, that could be huge for them to get out of qualification. I'm not sure if they were in the qualification zone before this, but they are going to get a goose egg in this event.
I'm not sure who that was. I'll have to get a look at the DNF round. It's hard to tell when how wide this course is. It's Loon Batoon had the lead of the race, but Marsh comes through very quickly in the green. It's Allium who's made a great comeback in this green funnel with Cheddar and Wanderer, who of course will be at the top of this race. Down the bottom there, I see Rosemary's, and I believe that's Team Mayhem down there as well. Cheddar and Wanderer fighting hard here. Will Cheddar take the lead over Wanderer? Not quite. Wanderer does take the lead of the race, unsurprisingly, I imagine. Down the bottom, Rosemary's come on through, and as I said, a write-off race for them. They've already qualified, but no, I think that is in fact the Quantum Tunnels in the green funnel, which means it's J Jockeys getting it now. J Jockeys came off the track. Confirmation from the stewards because we can't see very well. Neptune Nomads come on through. It's Wanderer and Allium at the top of the pile. For the big pile, this top pile here could be determined on if you qualify or not. It is so important to stay out up here.
These two teams in the orange funnels are in a great position to hold on to this top two spot while four teams battle out in the green. Party Crashers entered the green, but someone has already finished. Crystal Pistols are done. Serpent Speeders and Cheese Balls are very close. I don't think they'll get dislodged. Cheese Balls will get fourth, Serpent Speeders third, and Onion Union look poised to get the win here. Can the Party Crashers actually get by them? I think the Party Crashers should have done enough to qualify. Onion Union, same for them, but either of these two teams want the win here as well. I think they might make contact.
Oh.
Will they? Yes, they will. Oh, this might just be for pride, but the Party Crashers will get the win. Onion Union will get second place, and this confirms the Party Crashers will qualify and keep their perfect attendance.
Wanderer has done it again. He cannot be stopped in the funnels. It's unbelievable what this marble can do. And it's Allium who... Onion Union were in 12th place coming into this event. So that second, will it be enough to get them in? We'll have to see the final table. Cheese Balls, Crystal Pistols, Quantum Tunnels rounding up the top 6. And Emerald from the J Jockeys, a DNF. J Jockeys are not going to qualify. It's pretty comfortable, yeah, 12th place. And it's Rosemary's. Serpent Speeders do not qualify. Crystal Pistols, Party Crashers, Cheese Balls just get in front of Onion Union, who despite that silver, it wasn't enough. It's topsy-turvy. Serpent Speeders, an upset, will not qualify for Season 5.
That the hugest miss, but no time to waste. We are going straight to Group B. No rest for the wary here. Navy Seals down to Croissant Crew. The Serpent Speeders, the hugest miss from Group A, but we are on. Off we go with Group B. A lot of marbles here, desperately trying to get in the qualification zone. This is a much closer group than Group A was coming to the final event, so it's all to play for here in the Funnel Classic. Looks like Steel Force is in a good position as well with the Moneymakers, the Honeycombs, and the Hell Clowns. Now, Hell Clowns and the Steel Force are the only two teams in that top funnel. We already have first entrance into the orange. Is that Team Sunrise down there in the orange? And they're being joined by a slew of marbles all coming down through in the orange. It's very quick descent for a lot of these marbles as we're going to get our first entrance into the first green funnel now.
Up top, you got Ronald from the Hell Clowns. Won this event in Season 4, bronze in Season 3. So it's a very good, of course, a very talented funnel. And they're going to be a full orange funnel ahead coming into the orange. But they stumble and fall straight on through into that battle with Steel Force and the Moneymakers. Croissant Crew are fighting with the White Knights. Milk, of course, the record holder in this event. They just stay up. And the Croissant Crew now, it's going to... Oh, this is an absolute... No one's fallen back too far just yet. It is a very close battle in Group B here. It's a bloodbath to try and make it into the green. I think 6 marbles there. There's Navy Seals and Croissant Crew in the bottom half. There's Hell Clowns, and that's Buzz of the Honeycombs. Of course, silver in the elimination race last year in second place, but Ronald does hold the lead.
It's absolute madhouse in the green funnel. So many marbles all trying to stave off falling through. But we have our first entrant into the final green funnel, and I think that might be the Croissant Crew. It's a huge gap from them to the next marbles. No one is in even the final orange funnel, and now someone is. That's the Honeycomb, that's the Moneymakers. But the Croissant Crew look to be last, and they are. It's the White Knights and the Honeycombs in the top 2, and the funnel separates them and the other marbles, but now the Honeycombs drop through. Green Peacocks also trying to come alive in the later part of this race. They're in a battle now with the White Knights, but a lot of marbles now, all in the green funnel at the bottom and 4 marbles in the orange funnel above it. It's going to be very close, all to play for here in this.
And the Green Peacocks take the lead of the race. It is the last marble standing in the orange funnel. What can these teams do? It's 9 all at once in the green funnel to try and qualify. All crawling around that gap. The Navy Seals come on through. Steel Force come on through. Green Peacocks, who are leading, capitulate and come through in 6. The Blue Brigade, Popsicles, Team Sunrise, Blue Brigade come through. Then it's Popsicles. Then Team Sunrise, Honeycombs come out to win the race. White Knights get 2nd place from 12th in the table again. 12th in the table, White Knights. Is it enough? It wasn't for Onion Union, but for White Knights, it might just be. But Green Peacocks might not quite. We might see a second huge upset in this group as well. I'm waiting for the table. I just don't know.
And we do! The Green Peacocks will not qualify. Blue Brigade, Honeycombs, Popsicles, Team Sunrise, Croissant Crew, and the White Knights have qualified from Group B. Huge misses in both groups here in Season 5. But such is life in the qualifiers here. We have our 16 teams set for Tour de Endurance in 24-25.
What a qualifiers that was, and what a season we have lined up for us in both the A-League and the B-League. A very strong lineup in both sets of the world. And there's the Grayscales at the front with the Marauders, Super Spreaders, and Crazy Chickens. They will face off in a friendly round in a few weeks' time, and then we will be ready for the main show of Tour de Endurance 24-25. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, on the video and in Stadium, and bye for now.